May go Van and Malone, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Talk podcast. My name's Alex, here always with Vance,
Hey everybody.
and today we have returning as a guest my good friend Ryan Haroff.
Who is also part of the Kind of Everything podcast. Be sure to go check his out when you're done watching this. Um, so today, as the Halloween season comes around, obviously everyone's always got their conspiracy theories and everything. So today we're going to discuss some of these conspiracy theories and any merit they may have, or whether they're just absolutely ridiculous. So, Alex or Ryan, you want to start us off?
I've got one that I'd like to start with. It's one of my favorite conspiracy theories, and one of the ones that I believe in the most. The whole Men in Black kind of thing. And I'm not. I mean, the film trilogy is based off of these Men in Black, but it's the film series doesn't do this one justice because this Men in Black, since like the 1950s, UFO investigators have had weird experiences with these beings called the Men in Black, and usually these beings would show up to people's doorsteps after these individuals had claimed to be in contact with aliens. And there are theories that they do the mind wipe thing, where they'll erase your memory of any contact of alien encounters. There are some rumors or speculations that instead of just mind wiping the people, they just straight up kill them.
But you see, if they kill or mind wipe everyone that they run into, how do these rumors start?
Well, they're not always successful to begin with. I mean, maybe something goes wrong in a mind wipe. I don't know, but since I believe in UFOs and I do believe aliens exist, I think the Men in Black do have some merit. Maybe, and there are also theories that the Men in Black are aliens, and that's a pretty fascinating theory.
And we all love to believe that extraterrestrial life might exist because, in my opinion, there is actually nothing scarier than being alone. And while none of us may be alone on this earth, I think everyone strives to believe that aliens exist because we don't want to be alone in the universe. Now, I feel believe that aliens exist? Somewhere out there, maybe. But I believe that, they came to the Earth, like, billions of years ago when dinosaurs were roaming or whatever, and just thought, meh, not that interesting. Which is why, we've never confirmed aliens.
So I feel like there's most likely life on other planets somewhere. I mean, look at the size of the universe.
Yeah, there's bound to be.
It happened here, but I've never really bought into the notion that they've visited before.
I think they have. Maybe not like, something big and major, like where they actually land on the surface of the Earth, but maybe something where
like
they've flown by, they entered the atmosphere, something like that. I don't think humankind has made contact with them yet, or at least in a way that they understand. Do you guys watch the show Ancient Aliens?
I do not.
I watched one episode because I wanted to see where that guy from the meme Aliens came from.
I was actually lucky enough to see the episode where that image came from. I was so happy. But I watch that show a lot. It's one of my favorite shows. There are some theories that they have that I believe. Some of them are just downright ridiculous, and then some it could happen, but there's not enough evidence to support it.
Well,
that kind of
from what I understand, there's a base in New Mexico that's been actually receiving a strange signal that no one's been able to decipher for the past, 35 or 40 years now. No one knows where it's coming from, except, we know that it's coming from space. We don't know why or where or how.
Yeah, they had it might be one of those things like the last time that we had a signal that we were getting, we couldn't understand it. It wasn't like a signal. It was a reading from a neutron star that was pulsing.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, they called it the LGM because they thought it was a little green man trying to send a message.
Very, very angry.
But oh my God, Vance, don't do that. Do you guys watch Doctor Who as much as I do? I think Vance, you do. Ryan, do you?
I haven't been able to watch it as of late. Um,
Do you guys know? You guys know the silence, the weird
oh
skull-looking things
yeah,
for the
Yep.
suits?
yeah,
Those are
Those
actually
guys.
based off the Men in Black. That's where the
Yeah, I can see
influence and that's like supposed to be in the show where the Men in Black come from. It's really the silence. So I thought that was pretty cool the way they tied that in
that
because
is
Doctor
pretty
Who does
cool.
that a lot.
That is pretty cool.
But yeah, they are based off the Men in Black, and in the show, the Men in Black are based off them. So it's a very cool cycle. Very cool. I think the Men in Black are real. As for what they do, I don't think they do exactly what they do in the movies, where they're like a police force on Earth where they track down and tag aliens that are here on Earth. I think they're more of a keeping humanity silent about extraterrestrial life.
Right. I can see that. I can see that.
So
Um.
Vance, do you have any?
All right. So I don't really want to go in. I don't really want to go in depth with this one, because there's just too much information available that we never get anything else done. The Illuminati.
Oh, I was about to bring that one up. I was going to bring that one up. That was my next point. Ah,
All right. So for those of you who have never heard of the Illuminati, have you been living under a rock? Basically, the
or have
Illuminati
they been
is
properly brainwashed?
very, very interesting. Basically, the Illuminati is supposedly the secret organization that controls everything, essentially. Um, I'm not really sure how to explain this.
Do you want me to give you some background on the Illuminati so you can
Yeah,
further understand? Okay,
yeah,
because I have, like I said, I have this book and I have it open to the Illuminati page.
yeah.
Um, the Illuminati was originally known as the Order of the Illuminati, and it was founded in the city of Ingolstadt in southern Germany on May 1st, 1776, by Adam Weishaupt. He was a 28-year-old professor of religious law, and he deliberately blended mysticism into the workings of the Brotherhood in order to make his agenda of republicanism appear to be more mysterious than those of a political reform group. So the Illuminati was started, as a sort of political influence, kind of a political party, but not exactly. The order grew slowly, and in about 1780, about 4 years after it was started, you had about 60 members in 5 different cities. But you know, soon the group became too. It's become so blown up by popular culture where we believe that the Illuminati is controlling every single world government, including the Catholic Church, which is a fascinating theory. But yeah, so that's the Illuminati. They supposedly they're trying to begin a new world order where they like control everything.
Right.
So
But
I could see there being a bunch of groups out there saying like, yeah, we're the Illuminati, we're gonna take. But I don't think there's
I think
actually.
those groups exist for attention.
Yeah,
what
they
they
aren't
do.
doing anything that really matters. They're just showing up and saying, yeah, we're the Illuminati.
But do you guys think there really is a shadow organization behind
You see,
governments?
my thing is, I need real hard evidence to believe anything like that.
Mhm.
And to be quite honest, there's very little evidence that the Illuminati actually exists
Well,
today.
see, that's the thing about the Illuminati. Their whole point is to not leave any evidence. They exist in the shadows. They operate in silence. They
But
they
once again, we all know about them.
yeah, that is true. But do we know exactly? Do we know everything? Do we know everything about them? Do
That's a
we
very good
know
point.
their workings? I mean, are you familiar with the Freemasons? The
Yeah, my
Yeah, I
dad,
actually,
my dad actually used to be a Mason.
I did a show a little while ago inside the Masonic Temple over in Dayton.
they let you do that. That's cool.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
it was
But
a thing.
but you know about the Masons. But do you know about their inner workings? Do you
no.
know
Is
how they
are
work?
we? Isn't part of being a Mason that other people aren't supposed to know about the inner workings?
Exactly. That's the point. So just because you know about the Masons doesn't mean you know their inner workings.
But
Therefore,
here's the thing: we
just because you know
know.
about the Illuminati doesn't mean you know their inner workings.
Here's the thing, though.
We don't
We
even
know
really know
that
if the Illuminati exists.
exactly. That's my
I
point.
mean,
We
it
know that the
probably
Masons.
doesn't.
We know that the Masons exist. We just don't know their inner workings because that's it's not something everyday people need to know in the minds of the Masons. That's their whole point.
But what if the
But we
Illuminati still
don't
do
know that the
exist?
Illuminati exists, so we don't know their inner workings because, for all we know, they might not exist.
Honestly,
might not be any inner workings in the first place.
I think that they do still exist. I think that the order that Weishaupt started back in 1776 is still around. Now, is it the same Illuminati that it was back then? Probably not. It probably underwent a ton of changes as society progressed, and maybe it influenced the progression of society. But I think that the Illuminati as a group exists. Now, as a cult, maybe not so much. Maybe it does. Um, I'm trying to find some more information on it because this book does, it like gives me like a page and a half of stuff, 2.5 pages. But you know, I do still kind of believe in the Illuminati. I think that they are sort of a puppet kind
Puppet,
of group.
puppet organization. Now the question is, if they're a puppet organization, who's pulling the strings?
Well, I mean, they're the string pullers. They're the puppeteers.
They're
We're the puppets.
puppeteers. Okay, got to be a little clearer on that one.
Sorry about that.
All right. So Ryan, you got any theories?
Yeah, I want to talk about this. Is probably one of the more preposterous conspiracy theories I've ever heard in my life. Are you guys familiar with chemtrails?
Chemtrails. I
am not.
am not. Can you explain that?
All right, chemtrail. Like, you know, when you look up in the sky and you see a plane and it's like leaving a line behind it.
You think that's their? Do you think those are chemicals that they're leaving behind?
I don't believe this at all. I want to preface with that. But there are people out there who believe that, it's like the plane is leaving behind chemicals, and the chemicals mix into the rain, and then once we drink water, because of the water cycle, inevitably, the chemicals get inside you, and that's how the government controls you.
Uh-huh.
It is ridiculous.
I have never heard that theory before, and that sounds like the dumbest thing.
I know, right?
And this theory is actually, I'm looking at some information on this. Theory has been tested multiple times, and these arguments have been dismissed by the scientific community. Such trails are, they're just normal water-based condensation trails, which are routinely left by high-flying aircraft under certain atmospheric conditions. Nothing more, nothing less. But it kind of makes you wonder how this theory came about. And
people are crazy. They will theorize over anything.
Well, I'm looking at this, and people are arguing that normal condensation trails dissipate relatively quickly, and contrails that do not dissipate must contain additional substances.
Okay, well, here's another thing, and probably, I used to know about these planes because my dad told me, but those planes are flying extremely high. Like, those are very high-flying planes. They fly higher than, commercial aircraft do, and they even fly higher than, I believe, the Air Force, the Air Force flies. So up there, the temperatures have to be a little colder. Therefore,
they stay colder.
Yeah, they stay colder.
They're frozen a lot longer.
So they're gonna stick around a lot longer. I don't think the whole that is the dumbest theory I have ever heard. Why?
That is a retarded theory.
I was not aware of that. That is
so. Simply enough, we just debunked a conspiracy theory that never really had any merit. So that's our accomplishment for the day. Got some confetti saved up. So.
Okay, here's Ryan. Where did you hear that one anyway? Do you know? Ryan?
I think we lost Ryan.
Oh no.
Oh,
like Zoink Scoob.
Alright, we're gonna cut till Ryan gets back. We'll be right back. Sorry about that. Just had to do a little bit of troubleshooting. So.
Okay. So, do you guys mind if I go ahead and debunk one? That's been, it's in my book.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, you all have heard of Jack the Ripper, correct?
Yeah.
Famous serial killer, murdered
and from what I understand, they actually figured out the identity of him.
That's what I was going to debunk, because there were a lot of theories as to who he was. There was even a theory that Jack the Ripper was actually a female prostitute. She was a female prostitute who had gone around killing other prostitutes.
Like to drive up her own business?
Pretty much, kind of thing. It was either that, either to drive business, or she had been a former prostitute who had realized that what she had done was wrong, and then she went and like kind of went on a vigilante justice kind of thing and killed all the prostitutes.
Huh.
So that was a pretty cool theory, and for so many years, 126 years, the identity of Jack the Ripper had been a complete mystery. Well, just this past
It
in
was like
September, it
September.
was last month that he was identified as a man named Aaron Kosminski. He was Polish. Um,
And they
he,
figured
I,
this out because there was this bloodstained shawl that
yeah,
nobody had ever tested before, but they finally got the rights to test it, and it matched his descendants' DNA. So it only makes sense that he was Jack the Ripper.
and I'm disappointed in the identity of Jack the Ripper. Honestly, an insane Polish guy. Come on, the whole
But wait,
vigilante, huh?
wait a second. Why was the killer's blood on the shawl? Wouldn't that be the victim's blood?
No, it wasn't blood. It was DNA. They did
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
okay.
they just they it was covered in the victim's blood, but it had Jack the Ripper's DNA.
It says
Okay.
in the article I just pulled up, it says a shawl found by the body of Catherine Eddowes, one of Ripper's victims, had been analyzed, and it found to contain DNA from her blood as well as DNA from the killer. So it was her blood on the shawl, but his DNA was also there.
And I'm kind of with you on this one. I was disappointed to find out that it was a Polish man behind all
And
this.
he was he was criminally insane. Like, yes, it's cool that they figured out who it is, because that is awesome. But seriously,
Although
vigilante prostitute sounds so much cooler.
it does. Although I do have to kind of say I'm kind of sad because all these years Jack the Ripper has been such a mystery. He's
Mhm.
become more of a cult legend, and just the mystery surrounding the whole Jack the Ripper case. You can't deny that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
glad that we
some
figured out who it was. Disappointed in who it was. Sad that the mystery's over.
yeah, some things are better left unsaid, and I kind of wish the identity of Jack the Ripper was one of those things.
Yeah, but at least at least another one great. But for every great mystery that gets solved, another 50 pop up.
That's true. So, Vance, you said you had another one you wanted to bring up?
There's actually like two I want to talk about, but I don't know if we'll have any time to discuss them. Looks like we might. So we cannot do a conspiracy theories video without discussing Area 51.
Of
That's
course.
yeah.
So
There's another
Area
one I can
51
think of.
is a supposed top secret military research base based in New Mexico. Supposedly.
Nevada.
Yeah,
Nevada.
no, Nevada. Yeah,
Yeah, Nevada. And here's the thing: it's proven that if you try to cross over a ridge to even get a glance at Area 51, you will be shot on sight. No warnings, nothing. They have trained snipers manned at all times that will gun you down. And that really leaves a lot of questions to be desired. What do they have going on at Area 51 that is so secret?
Wait a second. Where did you see that you'd be
Um,
shot if you climbed the
have you
ridge?
ever watched Conspiracy Theories with Jesse Ventura?
I have not.
Yeah, he's conspiracy theorist that goes around looking at all these, and in one of his videos, they show a van stationed on the ridge with two men stationed with high-powered rifles, and
well, you also have to realize, and believe me, I do think Area 51 is valid, but you do have to realize that Area 51 is a military base, and maybe it's an important one. Maybe it's not just aliens they have there. Maybe it's really a nuclear testing site, but it is a military installment, so they are going to have guards.
yeah, but the level of security shown at Area 51 is more than any military base I've ever seen.
Right. Well, some military bases are also more important than others. But my theory on Area 51 is, while I do believe that the U.S. government does have, not does have, but might have extraterrestrial life hidden somewhere in a base, I don't think it's Area 51. I think Area 51 is a cover up. for a
Oh, that's ingenious.
because if you're gonna have a conspiracy theorist, you gotta have something. You gotta have bait, right?
Right.
Well, if you throw them this bait, it distracts them from the real thing.
That's
So
ingenious.
so I think like Area 51, while it is important, maybe it's like some sort of nuclear testing ground because it is out in the middle of the desert.
Right.
There's a lot of room for nuclear testing and weapons testing and all that stuff. Maybe they're developing weapons there, but maybe the real thing's hidden in a base somewhere far away from that to distract
Any
the
possible
U.S.
snoopers.
citizens. Yeah, so that's what I think.
But it's kind of
And I,
brutal. If it's just the bait, it seems kind of brutal.
well,
Just
the reason I think they have those guards there is if it's a nuclear testing ground, it's going to be pretty heavily armed, and perhaps maybe they have alien technology there that they're studying and they're working on, but the real thing, the real specimen, is somewhere else.
okay.
But yeah, it's all. Um, yeah, I actually have a conspiracy theory that I came up with on my own, and I'm actually working on maybe making it into a book. But if does anyone have anything else to add or any other conspiracy theories?
I do have one more conspiracy theory I kind of want to discuss.
Okay,
The
and that would be
Templars. The
okay.
Templars.
What exactly about them? I'm trying
Well,
to get to the page.
well, from what I understand about the Templars, they're sort of they're sort of they're an organization sort of like the Illuminati, but they're much less drawn. They're not as drawn into our pop culture, and I think that has everything to do with the Assassin's Creed video game. People see them in the video game and think, well, they're in a video game. That can't be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what my thought process was.
But here's the
Oh,
I
thing.
mean,
okay.
obviously the assassins from the game aren't a real thing, so I
Right.
just
But a
assumed.
lot of the events that take place in the Assassin's Creed game and all the time periods are quite accurate.
Which game were the Knights Templar featured in?
Pretty much every single one of
In
them.
the assassin,
All of them.
yeah, they're in all of them.
I
They're
don't
like
play
they're the
Assassin's Creed.
main, they're the main antagonists.
Okay. Even in Black Flag, are they in that one too?
Yep,
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
they're
they're
they're a
Sweet.
lot, they're a bit less of a deal in that one, to be honest, though.
yeah. But like I
Like
said,
in the first three games, they were a huge deal.
Sweet.
they're kind of an Illuminati-like organization. But because they're part of a video game, I think they're just less drawn out.
Yeah, they are the Knights Templar. I think they're also featured in Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code series. They're very, from what I've read, like they're nearly satanic, and it's
Really?
yeah, it's a lot of it's all speculation. Again,
Right.
you can't really prove anything if you're not a part of the group, and if you are part of the group and you reveal secrets, then they're gonna like kill you or something.
They,
Um,
yeah, they will murder
I
you.
think I forget. Never mind. Anyway, um, like what Dan Brown wrote, I think is what he kind of like theorized. There was like drinking blood from skulls and human sacrifices and just a whole bunch of just really gritty,
Wait, oh,
disturbing
drinking
things.
blood from a skull?
Yeah, that there are cults that
Like
do that.
like
Yeah,
human blood from a human skull or
Yeah.
animal from animal.
Human blood from human skull.
Wow.
It's very. It was in one of the books. I think, if I'm right, it was in The Lost Symbol, which is the third book of the series, and it's a good book. And there's a lot of like historical stuff in it. That whole series is just one big conspiracy theory. It's great, but
Now, the thing about this theory is there's not a lot of evidence because, like I said, it's not drawn into the pop culture as much. So
well,
we don't
not only
have
that,
a lot of information to go on.
but it's a secret society. They're not going to have anything out there for you to learn about them. So, and I could have sworn for a long time that the Freemasons were actually a sort of branch of the Templar Knights.
You actually believe that?
I think they are. They're both. I sometimes forget the difference between the two, but I think they're sort of branch.
By the sound of it, there's quite a few differences. I doubt the Freemasons are drinking blood out of skulls.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're up to. I doubt that they do, but If it happens, then I really wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that's one of those things though, where like if that was happening, especially today with the age of instant information, like we would have known about that.
That is true. That's not something one can easily overlook.
Yeah, especially given how large of a group that is, someone's gonna squeal.
That's yeah.
Someone in that group is going to think, hey guys, maybe this isn't right.
Yeah, or like you'll get the people who leave and they're like, and they'll write a book like Inside the Freemasons or whatever, you know.
I swear there's got to be a book like that exists. I'll have to look.
And
I'm sure that there
about
is.
2 weeks later, after they released that book, there's a newspaper article. Freemason and his family found dead inside their home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Book sales go up.
That's good. So Alex, you had a conspiracy theory that
Yeah,
you
I
came
have.
up with?
There's a theory that I have that I believe in, that I came up with after some extensive research and a lot of thought about it. We're all familiar with Atlantis, correct?
Oh yeah.
The city that sank deep into the Mediterranean.
Right.
Yep.
What if Atlantis didn't sink?
You mean
What if-
like it's just a city that like crumbled or something?
No. What if Atlantis still exists, but not on our planet?
You really?
What if Atlantis was a starship that left the Earth?
Alex.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. Hear me out.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's hear your evidence.
Atlantis is speculated to be the most technologically advanced city in all of human history.
And
So is it really that absurd to believe that Atlantis had developed a technology to allow it to travel through space?
It is.
Dang it, Ryan. No, it isn't.
well, here's the thing, Alex.
What?
Atlantis supposedly sank hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Right. And your
Maybe-
point being?
That technology would have to come from aliens.
From where? Aliens?
Aliens.
Oh, what if it did? What if?
I'm so glad I joined in for this episode.
What if?
I'm sorry.
That's the second part of my theory, though, Vance. What if the technology the technology did come from aliens, and the aliens did help out the Atlanteans from a long time ago, and the Atlanteans finally developed a technology to allow them to travel through space, and the aliens left Earth, and the people of Atlantis followed
All right. You know, I
because they
don't.
wanted to be with their masters or the people that gave them this great technology.
I'm sorry. I don't think of myself as a conspiracy theorist. Sure, I believe in some of them, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I'm gonna have to say this is probably one of the more absurd theories I've heard.
But
I understand what you're saying. I
My
understand your
sec-
evidence.
Okay, let
but
me give you my third and final point. Atlantis has been searched for so long. It's I think was it Socrates? One of the Greek philosophers had written about it. So I mean, this is thousands and thousands of years old, and yet nobody has yet to find evidence of this lost city.
Well, let's look at it this way.
Possibly because most likely because he just made the city up. It's like
I
when
don't think
people
he
look for
did.
it's like when people look for the Fountain of Youth. Like they're not going to find it. It doesn't exist.
Because there's
Then
no
again-
way there can exist a fountain that excretes a liquid that will allow the user to live forever.
Have you guys not
I
watched?
was just using it as an example. I'm saying I don't think Atlantis was a real city.
I think it was.
And if it was, it just sank and that was the end of it.
No, I
Well,
think
here's
it
the
took
thing,
off.
Alex. Here's the thing. You see, Atlantis supposedly sunk to the bottom of the ocean, right?
Right.
Submarine technology that could go down and actually search for Atlantis has existed only in the past century. So it's
But yet
and the
people-
Mediterranean is a big body of water.
There are people out there who are constantly searching for it because it is such a it's a popular topic. There are people that spend money to go down there and look for it, and it's a constant thing. I don't think Atlantis exists on our planet anymore. And see, that's not even my most ridiculous conspiracy. The first conspiracy I had about Atlantis was that it actually exists on our moon. And I was going to write a whole book about that, about how Atlantis took off, landed on the moon, is hidden on the it's like it's like under the surface, but like not too deep. And the craters you see are actually like some sort of like technology. But yeah, I still think
Alright,
it was.
here's my
a ship.
evidence. Here's my evidence against Atlantis rising out of the earth and flying off into space. Atlantis would have had a population, right? So
Correct.
it was at this time that there were other people around the world. I'm pretty sure if a giant city just took off, I'm sure somebody would have seen it.
Well, yes,
And
but
somebody,
are they going to
somebody
say anything about it?
I'm sure
Of course
there
they're
would
gonna say something about
No,
it.
they're
giant
not.
bloody
Because
flying
if you mention that to anybody, they're going to call you crazy and kill you for it.
Here's the thing. I'm sure somebody would have written about it. It doesn't matter how crazy you are.
Maybe those writings will lie.
If I saw a giant city flying to the moon, I would have been like, get out my computer, writing it up, writing down what I saw. There'd be at least some written evidence.
Well, maybe there are people like you, Vance, who don't like the idea of that theory that found those writings and decided to burn them.
It's not that we don't like the idea of the theory; we just don't think that it's true.
That's what I.
It would be
plausible.
awesome if it was true, but it's very. I'm gonna go with impossible.
I'm
be
going
honest.
to believe that it happened. I think it did happen.
I am gonna agree with Ryan. This theory, believe it if you want, it just seems too implausible.
Well, one day I'm going to prove it happened, and then will you guys be then?
Alright, so we're running out of time. So, if you guys have enjoyed watching this episode and you have any conspiracy theories that you want to share, be sure to leave a comment down below. And be sure to leave a rating and consider subscribing. And be sure to check out Ryan's Kind of Everything podcast. And
We'll leave another link in this one, just in case you want to see it.
What's that?
We'll leave another link in the description of this.
Yeah,
in
we'll
case you
leave a
do
link.
listen.
And
You see me mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see